neon white.
Welcome to part 12, the penultimate video in this series. For this, we are getting 10 of the 11 levels left, or over 90% of the medals remaining. These levels will go in the same format, being a pair of 2 levels from the same chapter to make 5 chapter sweeps in this video. These are the levels that I've improved on that I covered before. Since the levels I still needed to get were Book of Life levels, I decided to play a couple of other levels in that chapter to help me out. If you've been following along, you know what levels I have to show you, but the order of the levels will still be interesting. So let's start with...
I just keep getting better and better.
Starting out with Chapter 7, going harder to easier, this level is a lot of things for me. It's fun, as there are many opportunities to go fast, and the bubble mechanic is pretty cool and is explored well here. It's forgettable, for me at least, due to the placement of the level being around more memorable levels. And most of all, it's frustrating, as many places in the level are very easy to fail. The first jumper bullets are done pretty good, but it was very uncommon to get a start like that. At the ringers, it's hard to get a perfect amount of boosts to set up for the next part. I either get too little or too many. And somehow, the Purify Stomp bullet boosts were the hardest part, because I didn't understand how to do them. The grind was certainly very annoying at times, but wasn't the worst grind that I have done or will do in the future.
I just keep getting better and better.
This level, for me, is somehow even more forgettable than Bubble was, probably due to the lower difficulty in getting this medal. The main part of the level is a long descent, so the main time save comes from your starting height to aid hitting the top mimic. People starting out will use both balloons, I, and others of my skill level, use one balloon, and the world record uses none. Even with one balloon, hitting all the mimics proved to be difficult, given the use of the stomp card. The rest of the level can prove annoying if you choke it, but is significantly easier. Now for Chapter 7 as a whole. The levels here are pretty short, if you are looking for that. The aesthetics of Hanging Gardens are very pretty, although that also goes with Chapter 6, which can blend the two chapters together. The Bubble and Mimic are okay additions to the game, although they are better used as situational obstacles. I've said it before, but I really liked a lot of the levels in Chapter 7, even if I don't play them as often.
I just keep getting better and better.
We are moving down to Chapter 8, going hardest to easiest again. Streak was the last Emerald medal I got, although that was by random chance, and there were many more levels in contention for worst Emerald grind. There are a couple of different routes you can take, including one that was recently discovered, but I went with the easiest route able to get the Amethyst. None of the parts were that enjoyable, with each of them varying in consistency and enjoyment, but the one part that stayed as the worst part was the Far Guardians, who are very hard to see and even harder to aim at. If I were to replay this level, it would probably be to learn a new route, but I'm not fond of this level whatsoever and would be better off not touching it again.
I just keep getting better and better.
This was probably the easiest amethyst remaining from this series. I got it very quickly after starting the grind. That was probably because I had become accustomed previously to a new route that allowed for a lot more error. I also put my own spin on it, going far right with the dominions to collect the fireball card, which helps with the ascent a lot. It's nice to have an easy break within the sea of difficult levels. I would probably say the same about Chapter 8 as a whole, but that's only because I love the Dominion card. It's my favorite card in the game. The entire chapter is based around the card, which is very good for me, although it's a learned skill and not for everyone, like a certain other card that we will get to later in this video.
I just keep getting better and better.
We moved down again to Chapter 9, but this time going easier to harder. That's right, I don't believe that Bull is a crazy difficult level to get the Amethyst on. While many routes have come from the complexity of the level, I have tended to stick to what I know, with very slight modifications to help me get the medal. There isn't really any one hardest part. What makes the level so difficult is getting everything to go right at the same time. This was around the time I faced Marissa in the Joker tournament, and we played this level, where I got a PB that wasn't the Amethyst, and I believe that is what got me to finally push me over to the finish line.
I just keep getting better and better.
We've come to the top of the list, and this is one level that I was dreading, because I feel like I am significantly worse at this level than other people are. I don't understand how the beginning of the level works, and that's where the main time save is. Getting bullet boost there is very difficult, and landing on the railing is just as hard as always. After that, the level becomes more manageable, although it still remains difficult with hard shots, tricky platforming, and more bullet boosts. This is one of the levels that I just want to forget exists. It will probably make me happier. For the rest of Chapter 9, however, it was a lot of fun. The high intensity of the levels, as a culmination of everything you worked for, was a lot of fun, and I believe that follows for a lot of people as well. It's very difficult to get the Amethyst sweep though, because even though the times are lenient as compensation, getting runs done and getting them fast enough can prove to be very difficult.
I just keep getting better and better.
We move all the way up to Chapter 1, and with a considerable delay, since that was the point where I decided to catch up with the video making before finishing the Amethyst grind. I made parts 4, 5, and 6 before creeping up the list with these levels. Purify is not a good level. It's the only level where Purify slashing is the main time save, and those aren't consistent at all. Beyond that, the lines need to be tight, which is hard to see if you are. The start is hard to do and maybe reset constantly, and the bullet boost was hard to get because I had to react immediately, although that part got better and it's just the fault of the route that I take. Overall, I hold the same sentiment with this level as I do with most of the levels here, which is to process trauma by pretending it doesn't exist.
I just keep getting better.
The second level is my fourth to last Amethyst medal. Who could have guessed? Well, me, trying to play this level, that is. I'll just say it now. I am eternally grateful for whoever discovered the new route, because I have tried and I cannot get the medal with the old route, and would probably never have gotten it if this route didn't exist. It's an extremely good route as well. My run barely got any boosts, and was the first completed run that I did. It's too short for me to say anything else about this level, so let's move to the chapter summary. Chapter 1 is a very good introduction to this game, and got me hooked when I played it, but having experience with every level in the game, I cannot find much enjoyment in this chapter. The short times and large amount of players make for very tedious grinds, and I would much rather play chapter 2 or 3 levels instead if I wanted to improve early game levels.
I just keep getting better and better.
Finally, we move to the chapter I was dreading the most, Chapter 11. First things first, I regret to inform you that the middle difficulty theory is incorrect. While Spree was pretty difficult to get, it wasn't nearly as hard as Breakthrough or Sequence. I came up with the theory before playing these levels, so I thought it would hold, but it didn't. That comes from holding back on playing these levels until I caught up with the video series, or after part 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 were finished. For the level specifically, the main difficulty comes from what you would expect, being hitting targets very quickly. The hardest of these to hit was the frog, which is almost completely invisible and is set up as needed to have a chance of hitting it quickly enough. There is a reroute that gives you an additional Godspeed, but the window to get it is so tight that I didn't bother trying to learn it. Overall, it was a much better grind than I had anticipated, but it still wasn't fun or easy because it's a Book of Life level.
I just keep getting better and better.
This is, without a doubt, my least favorite level in this game. Take the worst parts of playing a Book of Life level and multiply it by 10, you get this level. That being said, it also does not align with the middle difficulty theory, although that could just be due to experience. The hardest boofs are the non-tripwires. Some of them are completely blind and need to be hit almost instantly. The barriers can cause some issues with hitting targets, but I found setups to make them bearable. I improved my record 7 times from a 14.2 before finally getting this, and it feels both too slow and too fast for me. But there you have it, the Chapter 11 sweep. I said this at my first Book of Life Amethyst, but this card isn't for me. The levels I have to play are just way too hard for me to comprehend or enjoy. If you are a god at these levels, good for you. But for me, I believe it to be the hardest and least enjoyable chapter to sweep, so I saved it for the end. Well, here we are, 120 out of 121 amethysts. The last level, Absolution, was planned to be the last level for a while now, and I held back on playing it, just like the last 4 levels. It's going to be exciting to see the series finally come to an end, and I promise to make that last video something special. So hold on until then, and thank you for watching.